Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to spend the last bit of our time doing a little bit of cryo work. So most of you have them already. Team Rockcliffe, totally up to you. If you want to stay, it might be just useful if you can till 1/4 for extra bits, or if you want to run away, you can, because I know you guys don't have face yet. So what we're going to have a little look at is those cryo balls. So we introduce them in the skin workout facial, but we never spend that long learning about the benefits and the why. So I've made you some slides about the real benefits. So first up with them, they will always be very useful for taking down puffiness and inflammation. Very good around the eyes, trying to take down swelling, black circles. Great in the morning if someone is looking tired or bloated. Number 2, they are also very good for any skin irritation or redness. So if you have a guest that comes and has got severe rosacea, kind of severe inflammation, acne, or general sensitivity, you could on the spot mold them a slightly different facial treatment where you don't do as much of your uplift. You don't do your fast uplifting moves because that's going to bring blood, which will make them redder. And instead you swap and do a lot of cryo work to really help with the inflammation. And the routine we do now would be really useful. You could fill much, much more of the massage with that cryo work. Also, for buildings where you do treatments that are a bit more invasive, so things if you've got microneedling or you've got dermaplaning or you've got facial treatments that do purposely make them quite red, then you could use this afterwards as well. So you could use these, even really nice after like exfoliation or waxing. Using that cold is going to help you tighten and tone the skin to help give a more sculpted feeling. When you're using cold and hot, so you've been massaging and you're bringing warmth, and then you suddenly bring in the cold, and then you've got your hands that are warm, and then you bring in the cold, you get a flushing effect. So you can actually help with the flushing concept for both moving blood or lactic acid. You can use them to press as well. So you can actually use them to try and like press product in. And then they are very, very good around the eye areas for anyone that's got headaches, anyone that's got migraines, anyone that's got sinus problems. And as TikTok is continually telling everyone that is 12 and above, I mean, the land of TikTok is full of gua shas and cryo tools at the moment, that technically, if you are doing frequent lymphatic drainage on your face, if you're doing that every day, you will get a smoother, more even toned skin. Okay. Now, I thought we'd have just a little look at some of the balls that are out there. Okay, so most of you have seen the first ones. They are basically like a golf ball with a handle. And that is the predominant one that we use in Proverb. The reason I use these is because they're really the best one fits all. They're pretty good at everything and moving around all parts of the face. Okay. Some of you might have or might have seen these ones that look like a mermaid's tail. Okay. These are very good, particularly they're a bit like a gua sha has a baby with a cryo ball. They're a bit like a mixture of them. They are very good for edges, for bone edges, and they are good around the eyes in particular. So in a perfect world, if money was no option and you could have both, they are really nice combined. So having the ball as like your general one fits all, but then getting into the nooks and crannies and the edges with your mermaid. If not, we'd take just this one. If you can have one, only have one, this one. If you can have two, these two. The number 3, which is the U-shaped ones where they've got 2 little golf balls on a U. Don't know if anyone disagrees or if anyone's tried them. I don't find ever particularly professionally that they're that easy to use. So they're not on my shopping list. And then the last one, we call them a mushroom. Has anyone got these? Give me a wave if you've got any mushrooms. Where it looks like the golf ball, but then someone's just flattened the bottom of it. So it becomes like a mushroom shape. What they are very good for is holding in places. So like holding on the eyes, really delivering spots of cold. And quite literally, if someone's got spots. So when I flew back from Morocco yesterday on the plane, I just suddenly got this massive spot here. And I was like, if I had a cryo ball right now, I would just sit with it on that spot and just take away that inflammation. So mushrooms can work too. So just a little revision about what is out there and a few key things. We want to make them cold with a fridge or ice. We are not putting them in the freezer. Most of them have liquids in that you can't freeze inside the ball, or some of you might have some from brands where the actual whole piece of equipment is glass. And if you put glass in a freezer, that is going to end up not going well. The other problem, though, with the glass ones professionally is you drop it in the middle of a treatment and you have a very messy problem. Hence why I've always just gone for the like stainless steel will bounce mode. You have to have some product on the skin. So you've got to have something to help the cryo ball slip. Presumably predominantly going to be a facial massage oil or some sort of serum. And we need to find nice ways to introduce them. And what you don't want to do at the very beginning is hold them for a long time, because you can get cold burn. So we're going to make sure that we introduce them in an interesting way, but we don't hold them and burn anyone. And always, you're either going very light pressure or a medium pressure. You don't ever get really, really, really heavy with these. Okay, let's stop that. So those of you who've done skin workout, we have used them for some lifting. Okay. What I'm going to try and do today is show you some more things to do with them. And it is up to you whether you just use those in the skin workout and do some more things, or whether after it you go, right, actually, we're going to make a 15-30 minute upsell, like add-on that could be really cryo focused, or you could just have it as a standalone treatment to add into anything. Because there is more you can do with them. Now, if you've got pen and paper, I want you to write capitals LID, L-I-D. Because there's three ways I want you to think about these tools. The L is for lift. Okay, so we can use them to try and lift. And that is what we've predominantly done with them already, those of us that have done facial. The I is for inflammation, where you're actually going to use them as a holding tool to try and take down color or angriness in spots or sunburn. Hence, this is a good time of year for these. And then the D is for drainage. So we are going to learn lifting skills, inflammation skills, and drainage skills with them. And it is up to you whether in a treatment, all three of those things happen, or whether just one of them happens. So you could, for instance, in the skin workout, have it where it's all just lifting. Or you could make a treatment where it's all drainage. Give me a wave if you have ever done proper manual lymphatic drainage body training. Because basically we're about to do some. Okay. So when I teach, the first thing when I teach manual lymphatic drainage, and what's really important to understand is the direction you have got to go on the body. As therapists, we've spent our whole life starting at the hand and coming up towards the lymph node, or starting at the ankle and coming all the way up, okay? You massage towards the heart, you massage towards the lymph node. Now in manual lymphatic drainage, that rule changes. They're like, no, you're wrong. Because it is all about unblocking lymph nodes and creating a flow of lymph. So using my arm as a best example, the lymph nodes we all know about are here, the axillary, okay? But imagine my arm is a tube of toothpaste, and this is the nozzle. This is the cap of the toothpaste where the lymph node is, right? If that lymph node is on really tight and is blocked, and then you squeeze the tube from the bottom, what is going to happen up here? Nothing. It can't go anywhere. It's got nothing. It can't get past the blockage in the top. So the mind-bending bit about manual lymphatic drainage and how we're going to drain with the cryo balls is that you actually have to start here. So you have to drain and empty here before you can come here, before you can come here, before you can come here, and then eventually you can do that. And that, in a nutshell, is what manual lymphatic drainage will teach you. So anyone that's thinking of doing a full body course, that is basically the first predominant key to lymphatic drainage. You start the other way around. You have to start where the nodule is, where the lymph node is, and you're always working towards it, but you're then working away from it. So it's a bit of a mind bend because you've got to work close to it, always going towards it while you're moving away from it. And that will help you with all your body lymphatic drainage, but that is what we're going to use as one of the key concepts on the face. So if you give me 1 minute, I'm just going to move the camera so we can actually see the bed, and I'm going to drag Luke away from his desk so that he has to come and lie down and be the face. Yesterday, when we did this for some of the international spas, you're lucky you don't have Layla. Layla was, Breeden, you will not know this because you've seen her as smiles and light while she was working there, but yesterday, good God alive, could anyone be more grumpy about someone doing drainage on your face? She was not very friendly. All right. Furniture removal commencing. Okay, right then, let's get this so we can definitely see this, where his head's going to be. So first thing to write on your notes is obviously you're going to need perfectly clean skin. So if you're in the middle of a facial, you would have already done all your cleansing and your exfoliating. If you're making a standalone treatment for this, then you will start with cleansing, exfoliating if you want it in there. Okay. Oh, and there he is. Very fast. Can I get you to just take your t-shirt off and we'll cover you over? So I'm going to teach you, we're going to go through everything to do with the lift bit. Then we'll talk about inflammation, and then we'll save drainage to the end because it's the most complicated. Anyone that has got to run away, don't stress. I will have the video. So presume we've already cleaned Luke, so he's already had his face cleansed. Okay, let's check we can see. Can everyone still hear me okay? Give me a little thumbs up if we can hear. Okay. So I'm just going to make sure that he's got some superfood on. So let's think about lifting moves first. I'm doing this one first because this is good revision from your skin workout. In terms of the skin workout, we sort of just appear with them on the cheek, don't we? And start lifting. So let me just do that. So presuming as it is in skin workout, we've just been doing all of our big lifting here, our whipping, and we appear with the cryo globe. And think of this one as ice creams. So we are using it like an ice cream scoop, being super greedy, trying to take the biggest scoop we possibly can, but always following through with our fingers afterwards to add that little bit of warmth. Okay. So we're just starting with how we've already used them in the skin workout. This area of the face is the only real bit that you can lift quite as much as that. So you want to really make use of it, and also really make sure that you come and lift in this nasal fold here as well. I think possibly it's the bit on me that I'm starting to really notice as I've hit like 45. So really trying to lift that nasal fold. So I'm just trying to make sure we're perfecting what we already do in skin workout before we go on to the next parts. When we work just one side of the face, what's good about it is you can be really controlled. And so what I would do is I would work one side, then in the skin workout, we do the other. But if you do end up with more time, or you add more cryo into your skin workout by putting an extra upsell on it, it is lovely having both at the same time. Double ice cream scoop. Now you're being really greedy. You want 2 big balls of gelato. But still do the singles and then come together. There's something lovely as a guest about having that symmetry of both sides. Okay. So still just thinking about lifting movements of how we can get these to lift. You can do it on the forehead, but as soon as you come to here, as you just saw him screw up his eyes, you've obviously got lots of muscle, but you've got very evidently the piece of bone here. So you have to be super light. So the real ice cream lifting is going to be coming from down here, okay? And that is what we have predominantly done already. But now I want you to do it with both sides too, not just one singles. Okay. Let's think about the eye for inflammation next. So if someone genuinely has a big spot, or they have patches of sunburn, sounds pretty obvious, but you actually literally can go and hold these on the area. Okay, so start thinking about them as like almost like little stamps that you can stamp onto somewhere. So if someone's got a little patch of redness or rosacea or a spot, that you can hold them. Do you not like the cold, my friend?
Bit of a shock.
They do get really cold.
Just because it's not consistent, as in.
As I keep appearing and reappearing. Out. Hello. Okay. Right then. Let's do our big piece of work then, the drainage side. This is where I'm going to twist the directions for you. So if you put drainage next. Okay. So I'm pretending I'm now starting from these have not been on him yet. Let's find a nice way to enter and get him used to those balls. I would, well, like you do with hot stones, it's not a bad idea to steal some of the cold and introduce it with your hands first. Just like when you're waiting for a hot stone to cool down, you can be waiting for these a little as well. And on those initial opening holds, so pretend you hadn't seen me do any of the other stuff before, this is us from the beginning. If you are holding 1, 2, 3, no longer, I would suggest 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So instead of a long tempo hold, I would do 1, 2, 3, and then maybe a third eye and chin, and then maybe a top of head and chin, because I want it to feel like a nice hold, but that I'm not consistently leaving it in the same place if these have just come out of ice and they are super cold. Did that feel okay? He's relaxed now, he's not talking to us anymore. Yeah. Then, starting to think about the drainage. You'll still have yours held in your hands. I will occasionally show you with my fingers, because it's sometimes easier on camera to see with fingers first. In a lymphatic drainage treatment, The actual single most important place on the body is here. This is your subclavian, where your subclavian vein is. And when we move lymph around the body, anywhere on the body, it is all eventually going to flow back through here, through this subclavian vein. So we will always start here, and we will always make sure that here is open so it can receive any lymph fluid that we send from anywhere else. So I'm going to start with my fingers, what would be my cryo balls, basically just like you're lining them up on the clavicle. And the movements that I'm going to use always, there is 3. There is a push. So like I'm push, release, it rolls back, push, release, it rolls back, push, release, it rolls back. So a little pulsation, basically. So a pulsation, or I'll do a short sweep, or I'll do a really long sweep. And my pattern is always going to be those: pulse, short sweeps, long sweeps. So if I show you with my hands first, I'm going to start at the subclavian, and my pulse is inwards, this way, towards here. And then I take a step back, and I pulse and push in, step back, pulse and push in, step back, pulse and push in, step back. So showing you with the cryo balls, pulsing, pulsing, all pulsing towards that subclavian vein. Now to do the sweeps, I actually find it easier. I come and I stand on the other side of them. So I'm going to sweep, tiny sweeps, towards the subclavian vein. Do not hit the bones with these. And then once I've done small sweep, medium sweep, bigger sweep, I can then be completely happy that I can then come and do a full sweep in that area. And really that is the pattern for a manual lymphatic drainage, the starter base pattern. If we're then thinking about the neck, you have got lymph nodes around the base of the ears, and then we've also got cervical lymph nodes here. And we are going to start at the bottom, and I am going to pulse down. Then I'm going to pulse down, and pulse down, and pulse down. Then I will do a little sweep, slightly bigger sweep, slightly bigger sweep, all the way sweep. And now, and only now, am I allowed to do all the way sweep, because I've already cleared all of the blockages that could potentially be in front of me. So this is the new pattern that's starting to emerge. We've got to clear all the blockages, and then we can go and sweep. And we're working here first, coming up the face, because once again, everything ends up down here. So we've got to clear in this direction. Now, the one place that sort of breaks the rule is under the mandible, because you've actually got lymph nodes the whole way under the mandible. So it's quite hard to know which way to start. But the bigger set are the cervical at the side of the ears. So we're going to start closer to those. So I will pulse towards the ears, along the edge, pulse towards the beard, pulse towards the beard, pulse. Then a small sweep, get slightly bigger, and then we're back in play like normal, being able to do our whole sweep. On their face, the parotid lymph nodes are here. So we need to start bringing everything towards this parotid lymph node. So I'm not going to do like normal. So normally we'd start right next to the nose and we'd fully sweep out. Instead, in our new life, we are going to start right next to the lymph node, pulsing back towards it, pulsing back towards it, pulsing back towards it, pulsing back towards it. Then I sweep towards it, starting closest to it. So really, we're learning more things to do with the cryo tool, but in truth, I'm giving you a bit of a cheeky insight into full lymphatic lymph drainage. If you went to do a facial lymph drainage course, you'd be learning these concepts. Then I'll take and go a line down. So like we're drawing what I always call in beginners facial our cat whiskers. It leads to the question of why we're not taught this way in the beginning. Step down, same thing, pulses, small strokes, so we can become the big stroke. And now I can happily drain out the full face, as you would expect. And I can also come under here because we've already done here, and I can also come down here. And so with the eyes, we would not start right here. We would start on the outer edge. My pressure now becomes incredibly light. No pressure at all. And the same with the tops. I'm not going to come from here. I'm going to start here first, ending up here. So I'm now going to and now I can go full circles. You can hold these, and this is where the mushroom shaped cryo balls are really good. You can hold these straight over the top of the eye, but at this point, you'll have zero pressure, like no pressure whatsoever. You're on the eyeball, so absolutely nothing. And then lastly, if we're going to do the draining out on the forehead, we will again start out, start working down. And at this stage, because I've then done everything in the right order, I then have free roam to do all as big strokes in the very natural direction that we would normally work. Okay. One other thing to try that feels quite nice, a little zigzag. You can tell us whether he likes it or not. But I only do this once I've started all my and done all that drainage pattern. And then just like you began, so now, because we've done all that drainage, now if you still had another 5 minutes left, you could just keep working repeatedly in any of those directions that you wanted. And then when you finish, you're going to need to find a way to nicely hold just like you did at the beginning. And if you are going to make this into like a standalone add-on, it's logical to either make the rest of the treatment feel cooling too. So for instance, if you're using hot mitts or hot towels, maybe make those cold. So everything becomes about it being cold. Or purposely choose not to make them cold, and they are hot and this is cold, and everything becomes about the sports recovery concept of flushing and having both. And now I'm going to finish at my subclavian. When you are happy that you've finished the face, these are really nice in the hair because they're so cold, it can come through the hair. So for instance, you can come round under the ears and down the back of the neck. And you can use them to actually come through the hair because you do have lymph nodes all on the scalp as well. Quite nice, like rubbed behind the back of the lobes, like you're lifting those up. So I would add in like a scalp section with them, but only after you've finished everything on the face, because obviously we don't want to be rubbing any oils that are in the hair onto the face. Okay. And that is some new ideas of what to do with these. Okay. Cast back. So, Cryo, in the document I'm going to send you, has got some nice benefits. So you can then kind of take those from a marketing point of view as whether you need to add any more benefits. You know which ones you're looking out for. If you're going to get any new ones, I would add in a pair of mermaid tails. What is quite good is to have 2 sets because obviously these do cool down. They are good. They do hold their cold for a long time. But if you've got 2 sets for each treatment, then it means you can swap them in and out cleverly like you do with hot stones so that you're continually keeping that cold. So if you're going to get a secondary pair, I would probably get a mermaid set. And we don't supply them, and I don't necessarily always like sending people to Amazon because of the ethical element, but there is a really good array of them in Amazon land if you're looking for some mermaid ones that probably will be between about 15 and 30 pounds.